At the North Liberty Community Pantry, we strive to have our shelves stocked in a way that allows for flexibility of new items that come in but remain full enough to keep families feeling calm and happy. We pride ourselves for our work to keep shelves looking full. Bare shelves can leave families feeling anxious and worried that they will not be able to provide for themselves. Shelves that are too full can lead to limited space for new offerings and potential hazards to volunteers and families. Our goal is to make sure the shopping room reflects what we have in the warehouse and provides variety for shoppers. The following are quick tips on how to properly stock and maintain the shelves on and between shifts.
If you are first to arrive at the pantry for your shift and you are all checked in and ready, look at the communications board for announcements on stocking, the warehouse, upcoming events, and more. After, check produce coolers, bins, and look through the bread in the shopping room and free shelf for spoilage. All moldy, damaged, or oozing produce should be tossed. Any moldy bread or bread 7 days past used by date should be tossed too. Put all spilled bread and produce together to be tossed after shift.
When stocking the bread shelves, prioritize sliced bread. If there is still too much bread, put on free shelf, except sliced bread and pastries. Those should go back into the warehouse for later use.
Before distribution, make sure to check the warehouse refrigerators for any additional fresh produce to be placed in the shopping room. Besides looking over the bread, stocking fresh produce should be a main priority before opening. We want bins to be bursting with fresh produce. This is especially true during the growing season. Speaking of that fresh produce, when accepting those donations, treat them like any non-perishable donation. Record the weight, check to make sure the produce is not badly damaged or has mold or is oozing, and toss any of the bad stuff away. Check the produce storage chart to see how to properly store donations. Just remember, produce should only get colder, not warmer. If you have any additional time, wash dirty produce and set it out to dry. For any other donation, complete all the steps on the orange paper checklist. If your shift ends, leave the checklist on top of the donation. Stocking volunteers should check the donation table in the warehouse and complete the donation checklist, and, as a last step, put the food on the distribution shelves.
When stocking the shelves, use one of the spare shopping carts in the warehouse to move food from the warehouse into the shopping room. This allows you to bring more food out and navigate around families during shopping hours. To avoid congestion during shifts, make sure to stock between shoppers.
Always stack cans 2 high and 3 to 4 cans deep. This keeps the shelves looking tidy and pantry patrons safe from an avalanche of cans. Make sure the labels are facing outwards so shoppers can easily identify products. For produce, except tomatoes, fill bins and produce coolers until bursting. Tomatoes should be no more than 3 high to avoid being squished.
When stocking the shelves, our motto is first in, first out, FIFO. In other words, make sure to stock behind food on the shelves. Don't forget it.
Avoid filling the entire shelf with one item, even if we are low in variety. Leaving space and flexibility for new items allows us to keep moving products through the warehouse and eventually into the hands of families. This becomes especially true when we get large donations or when our friends from table to table delivers food. We want to fill the shelves, but not overfill them. Speaking of table to table, when unloading boxes, prioritize putting away refrigerated items first, next freezer items, then produce, finally non-perishables. Table-to-table items need to be pushed out into the distribution room quickly since they are near expiration.
When stocking the freezer, make sure to remember where certain items should go to avoid any contamination. Poultry, basically anything that flies, should be placed on the bottom shelf. The next shelf should be meat from our four-legged friends. The remaining top shelves can be filled with prepared food like pizza, frozen fruit, and veggies. Another thing to take note when stocking is where food items are placed on the shelves. Duplications might happen once in a while, but we want to try and make sure we group together like items. This is especially true when it comes to cereal and oatmeals. Take note of where a row of a particular cereal is and try not to put the same cereal down the aisle somewhere else.
When we get items in bulk, it is best to break them up into smaller portions if they contain the nutritional facts. This allows more families to benefit from the bounty. The blue bins are a perfect tool to use when displaying these items. Before a shift starts, make sure that the front desk has enough detergent to start the shift, which is about 6 bottles. Always check the bins under the warehouse table for concentrated detergent first. Once that is empty, pull from the new detergent. It is easiest to put a box into a cart and push it up to the front. The desk worker should be able to locate the labels in the file drawer and label them before putting them on the shelf.
That's all we have for now. If you have a question, ask the staff. They're here to help. Thanks for watching.